Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Table Talk with Mike. In this week's episode, I thought we would talk about some personal stuff, some personal beliefs, where they come from, how they might limit us and not let us achieve some things that we are very capable of achieving. We all have a belief system about what we're capable of and what we're not. But you ever really thought about where that belief system comes from, or where that belief comes from that maybe you're good at this, but you're not good at that, or those kinds of things. Um, for me, I look at about 10 years ago, I really kind of went through a period where there was a lot of introspection, and I really thought about and learned about who I was and realized that some of my beliefs obviously were shaped by my environment growing up, through my parents, through my dad, I think specifically. He was an awesome dad. I loved him. He was my best friend right up until he passed away in 2008. And it was a hard experience to go through when I lost him. But a lot of lessons that he taught me growing up, I've tried to apply and teach my own kids and live my life, with the integrity that he had. But there were also limitations that he that came from his own life that he kind of transposed onto me. One of the things that my dad was, he was very conservative. He spent his whole entire career, almost 40 years with one company, didn't like to take risk, always told me, the men in our family, that's just who we are. We don't take risks. We don't start businesses. We don't put ourselves out there. We take the straight and narrow path, and we don't veer from that at all. And it wasn't until really about 10 years ago where I started to really delve into that and realize that that was his perspective on the world based and shaped out of his experiences growing up. But in reality, that wasn't exactly entirely accurate because my grandfather, my dad's father, in the late 1930s, early 1940s, started a construction company with a couple of his brothers in a little town that my dad grew up in southern Holland. That company is still operating today. And then my grandfather, packed up his family, his wife and 4 kids, and emigrated to Canada in 1949. Clearly, I would say that my grandfather, my grandparents, were not that conservative. They were open to putting themselves out there and trying new things. So when I realized that, I then looked back at my life, and my life has not been one of being conservative. After university, I threw a backpack on and went and traveled throughout Australia for a couple months, just on my own. Didn't have anyone with me. Got there, had no idea what I was going to do. Just knew how long I was going to be there, and I needed to go from point A to point B before heading home. And it was an amazing experience. Came home from Australia a few short months later, packed up and moved from Toronto to Vancouver. No prospects, no job lined up, nothing. It was just something I wanted to do, and I felt at the time I needed to do it. 2013, I ran for city council here in Airdrie. No idea what I was doing, and I looked at it as either I'm going to just improve and step up my community involvement, or I was going to learn a lot of lessons. And not getting elected meant I learned a lot of lessons, and I look on with that in a favorable light. It's an opportunity I have to teach with my kids about put yourself out there, take a risk, don't be afraid to fail. Even the last couple of years since COVID came on, I always thought I wasn't creative. I wasn't artistic. I didn't have that gene in me, even though my grandmother was a painter, a terrific painter. My aunt is a terrific painter, both very, very talented. My mom did pottery when I was growing up. She's very creative in that sense. My kids are creative. My daughters are very artistic, both in art and drama, music, you name it. Even my oldest son, I've seen his creative and artistic talents have started to come out in the last couple of years. But I always thought, oh, that skipped over me. That's not who I am. I don't have that gene in me. Until I realized, no, I shouldn't say that because I've never tried it. And being creative can come in different forms. It's not just through art or sculpting or pottery. I was creative playing sports. But a couple of years ago, beginning of 2021, I started to think, my daughters are painters. My 17-year-old especially is a painter. She has stuff all over her room. I thought, I can do that. And, not that I said I could do it, but I thought, I'm going to try it. What do I have to lose? Now, I don't think I'll ever be a Rembrandt or a Picasso, but I can do abstracts. And I got into painting a couple years ago, and this painting behind me is one of mine. I've got others paintings up around the house, and it's something I really enjoy. This past year, after being a skier for 40 years, I learned how to snowboard. Something that I can now do with my 15-year-old son, who's a snowboarder. So never be afraid to try something new. Put yourself out there. And how does that apply to what you do at work? Well, by learning new things, by expanding your world beyond what you might have thought was possible, what you thought, no, I can't do that. I don't have that talent. Or what if I fail? What if you succeed? Take the chance. To me, it's only a failure if you don't learn any lessons from it. And you can apply that into your work environment as well. It doesn't matter what you do, what kind of role you have, what company you work for, what industry you work for. By trying new things, it gives you different perspectives, and you can look at things differently. You can apply those lessons that you've learned through maybe not succeeding the way you were hoping to, or maybe you did succeed and you learned something new, but it gives you a different perspective. And you can apply that in your role, in your job. You can become better at what you do. You can become more open to others' ideas, collaborating with other people. All of those things come into play when you try new things. So I encourage you, take the risk, put yourself out there, take a leap of faith. And if there's something kind of on your heart that you've always thought, I'd really like to try that, but I know I'm going to fail. I can't do it. If it's on your heart, it's there for a reason. And I'll bet you that if you give it the go, you really give it a try, you're going to find that you're going to love it and you're going to succeed. And like I said, if you don't succeed, you've learned some lessons and you can move on from there. So anyway, thought that was a good topic to cover today, and hope you liked it. If you have any comments, leave them below or send me a direct message. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.